I think we all want to make a difference. We want to see some real positive change in the world. But the big question is, how? How does that actually get started? Well, it turns out that one of the most powerful ways to kickstart that change comes from a pretty unexpected place, the academic process of figuring out a research problem. So, really, where does it all begin? If you want to change things for the better, what's that very first step? You might think it's a huge protest or a ton of money or some grand sweeping vision, but honestly, it often starts with something way smaller, quieter, and a whole lot more focused. It starts with just a single question. And at the heart of it all is this feeling that I think we all share. It's that desire to just make things better, to leave our communities, our world in a better place than we found it. That's the why. That's the motivation that fuels the whole journey, from a simple thought to making a real impact. Okay, but just wanting something isn't a plan, right? To actually build a better world, you first have to really understand the one we're in right now. And that's the crucial first step, moving from just hoping for change to getting the knowledge you need to actually make it possible. This right here is so important. Gaining all that knowledge isn't the final goal, it's the launching pad. The whole point of digging in and deeply understanding an issue is so you can earn the right to ask, all right, so what can we do about this? That's what lets you see where the real opportunities for change actually are. And you can really see the roadmap laid out here. It's a clear path. You start small, right? Get your feet wet with a single project. That project then builds you a solid foundation of knowledge. And once you have that, you can zoom in and identify a problem that's truly significant. And that's when the magic really starts to happen. And you can begin to promote that positive social change. Which brings us to the engine of this whole thing. Look, we usually think of a problem as a bad thing, an obstacle in our way. But here, a really well-defined problem isn't the roadblock. It's the catalyst. It's the thing that takes all that vague energy and desire and focuses it into powerful, directed action. I absolutely love this analogy. Just wishing for a better future is kind of like saying, I'd like a house. It's a nice thought, but where do you start? A blueprint, though, that's a plan. It has dimensions, materials, a foundation. A well-defined research problem is your blueprint. It turns that fuzzy wish into a concrete, actionable plan for building something better. So let's get super clear on what we're talking about here. This isn't just any old question. It has to be precise. It has to be focused. It's a tool, and it's specifically designed to guide you toward finding something new, filling in a gap in what we know, or fixing a very specific issue. It's the difference between just wandering around in the dark and actually navigating with a map. So what does this actually look like? We'll take a massive topic, like climate change. I mean, where do you even begin? It's a whole universe of issues. But now, look at that sharp problem. What is the effect of coastal mangrove restoration on local carbon sequestration rates and community resilience to storm surges? Whoa. See the difference? It's specific. It's measurable. And whatever the answer is, it points directly toward an action you can take. And this is where it all comes together. Once you have that sharp, focused question, that architect's blueprint, you suddenly have the potential to make a massive impact. It's all about how that one, single, well-crafted question really, truly matters. And that is not an exaggeration. Seriously. It's like dropping one small pebble into a perfectly still pond. The initial splash might not look like much, but then the ripples spread out and out and out, creating these waves of change that you could never have predicted. So how does that happen? Well, think about it. By answering that one question about mangroves, your findings could end up informing new government policies on coastal protection. It could inspire engineers to develop brand new restoration technologies. Your work could shift how the public sees the value of these ecosystems, which could lead to new community programs. You solve one specific real-world challenge, and you might just spark a dozen other solutions. So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. The kind of meaningful, lasting change we all want to see, it's almost never an accident. It doesn't just happen. It's designed. It's engineered. And the blueprint for that whole design starts with having the courage to ask one very, very good question. And that really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Just look at your own community, or your job, your passion. For a second, forget about changing the entire world. Instead, just ask yourself this. What's one problem that, if you could solve it, would change your world? Because that right there, that might just be where everything begins.